Sheffield. Leeds Rhinos have defended their crown.
And what a moment for Halifax Rugby League.
Aston is through and Warrington dominating. Great try for the Robins. Huddersfield Giants take the points home. They missed it. It's a poor lad. He's got sensational try.
Look, Gale with a drop goal. Leeds gather round in jubilation.
He's hit the post. It's Wellesby. Wellesby might have got the try. St Helens are champions once again.
Good evening. Welcome to another series, another season of The Last Tackle with Betfred. Been a long time coming, but competitive rugby league is finally back. Betfred Challenge Cup round 1 starts this weekend. And for so many of the clubs, in fact, all of the clubs involved, it will be their first competitive game in over a year. Delighted to say that I'm joined by Sheffield Eagles and 1998 Cup winner, Mark Aston, and the man who did this.
It's got to go in. One towards the sticks. One towards the sticks.
Now it comes, Gale. Look, Gale with a drop goal. And he peels away in celebration of the moment because he knew the moment it left the boot, it was going over.
Gents, thank you both for joining us. It's a very exciting week, of course. And Luke, we've just seen your magic moment at Wembley last season. Has it sunk in yet? That it must have been a special time for you.
As Mark just said then off air, it gets replayed every week, so I'm quite happy about that. Yeah, look, it was a momentous day and one that'll live with me for the rest of my life. I dreamed about that growing up as a kid, and I played out my boyhood dream. And yeah, fantastic day. And as I say, the memories that I've got of that will last with me forever.
And Mark, you'll have fond memories of this competition as a player, of course. It's pretty special, isn't it, the Challenge Cup?
Oh, it's massive. And as Luke just said, is that you dream about it as a young kid, and fortunate enough you get the opportunity to play there and also win there. And there's no better feeling, I guess. I'm 2 out of 2, so I'm quite happy with that as a player.
I like that.
Luke, obviously last year behind closed doors, a very different experience. How much would it mean to you to get to do it all again this year, but with the Leeds fans backing you this time in the stadium?
Yeah, we spoke about this a few weeks ago. Look, it was gutting on one hand. Obviously, I'd gone there with my parents as a young boy, and them not being allowed in, and my family not being allowed in, and the fans. It was tough, but I suppose we got the job done and we won, and no one can take that away. I did mention last week that let's do it again, but let's do it with fans in this time. Because if we could bottle that emotion up and relive it again, but with fans this year, it'll be some occasion. The energy that you got from winning it was fantastic. With a crowd there, I can imagine it be 10 times more as well. So that'll be on the forefront of everyone's mind this year.
And it was probably one of the best finals in recent years as well. It was really touch and go. There wasn't really any point where either side were in complete control of the game.
Yeah, a lot of people said that it was entertaining to watch. Look, we felt in complete control the first 40 minutes. The scoreboard didn't kind of relate that, but they got a breakaway try through Callum jumping up and sending, I think it was Reece Williams, but we felt in control. And then second half, the wheels just fell absolutely off. And I thought we'd thrown it away there for a minute, but we've come back a fair few times last year. We come back from there were some quite big deficits that we come back from, and yeah, we got the job done. I think the end to end made it a great game. It wasn't one. Obviously, when you're playing it, the drop goal went over with 7-8 minutes to go, and still then there was a couple of opportunities for Salford to score late on as well, and I suppose that's what adds to the drama. And for the neutral, I suppose it was a great game. Yeah,
must be one of the perks of the job being a halfback, that you get to be the one sat in the pocket waiting to do that.
Yeah, but as Mark will tell you, you're hero or zero, because if that misses, then you walk down the street and everyone says, remember that drop goal you missed at Challenge Cup final? But look, I love them moments. I missed the first one. and I could have missed 3 or 4, and you still give me it on the 5th one. As an halfback, a cocky halfback, you'd say you live for them moments, and Mark will tell you the same thing.
Mark, Sheffield Eagles hold the distinction, of course. You're the last team to win at Wembley in front of the crowd. You've also got the honour of kicking off the Challenge Cup final this year. You must be really looking forward to getting back to work on Friday night.
Oh, certainly. I know you mentioned the 1895 Cup, was another special day for lots of reasons, but not only to be part of the famous win there in '98, but also to be coach of the first Sheffield team to go back as well. And yet some of the kids that played for us have come through our system. So that was a massive achievement for us as a club. And for 4 kids that had that dream and born and bred in Sheffield to play at Wembley and come away with a victory is something special. And as you say, it does send tingles, it tingles into you when the Challenge Cup comes round again. And we're looking forward to it. It's been 12 months, as you say, since we played a game. Pre-season's been different. It's been longer, but there's been spells out and in, and contacts come back late and things like that. But the boys have been great. The nucleus of the squad is we kept from last year, so there's plenty of experience with people like Scotty Wield and Thackeray and James and people like that. And then we brought in probably out of the 10 new players, I think the oldest is probably 26, and then the youngest goes to 19s and around the 20s. So we're building for the future, but excited. I'm excited to see him play now in a competitive game against, it's going to be a tough challenge because York have invested quite heavily. I think I read somewhere the other day they've got something like 900 Super League appearances in them with people like Jimmy, go on, tell me, Bish and
Jones Bishop,
Kermo and people like that, Cupperson. Yeah, they've got quality across the team. So it's going to be a tough challenge for us, but one that we're relishing, looking forward to. We're excited, and we can't wait for it to be here.
And obviously a really long layoff, probably the longest layoff you'll have ever had. Are you happy with how the squad came back in the position that you're in? What are we, 3-4 days out from game day?
Yeah, you only usually get 6 weeks off. That's the challenge for you, and then you're back into a bit of contact. We've had 12 months off before we've done contact, but yeah, the boys in the lockdown looked after themselves. And when they came back in November, the results, the testing that we did, they'd done really well, and I was delighted with them because it's tough, as any player. But it's certainly been tough for everybody out there. But they've just been out and pounded the roads and done what they had to do to come back in reasonable shape. And the results after testing the other week is everybody's improved, and that's what you're looking for, is small improvements. And some of these young kids that come in at probably 87, 86 kgs are up to 92, and they're going in the right sort of direction. So yeah, there's a bit of competition for places. As I said to all the people who got the 1 to 17 shirts, they don't count for anything. The pre-season is where what matters to me, and there'll be people shocked and disappointed when we announce the squad in the next 24 hours. But as I said at the beginning, the first pre-season chat we had with them on Zoom is that people will get an opportunity here, and they always have done, and who has the best pre-season is probably the guys who will get the look to start with.
Now, I'm not going to ask you to tell me your game plan on Friday night, but what I'd like you to do in a sentence is describe the way that the Sheffield Eagles are going to set out to play rugby league football this year.
One of the things with me is I want them to express themselves and enjoy themselves and challenge themselves, because it's about skill. There's no doubt about that. It's about making decisions. So I back the players to make the right decisions with the right sort of skill levels. So we're going to try and entertain, and that's something that we've always tried to do. There's a big emphasis for us on trying to play quick, engage and isolate defenders. That's the game for me. So we're going to challenge them to play a different brand of football, but one that will be exciting for people to watch. So they're the words that come out there, is make good decisions with good skills.
And you've made a decision, certainly not publicly, to play any pre-season friendlies coming into this. Can you just sort of explain that logic?
we didn't get it. You know, we hadn't had enough time to do proper enough contact for me. So to throw a game in the middle of it, I wasn't comfortable with. We've, you know, since we were allowed to do as contact over the last probably about 6 weeks ago, we've worked really hard on every session to get us bodies hardened, if you like, to the physical side of the game. And then over the last couple of weeks, fortunate enough, we've got a 30-man squad. So over the last couple of weeks, we've gone as hard as we could in 13 against 13. And yes, we've picked up a bit of an injury here and there, but you know, it's got them hardened, and they didn't pull back. So credit to the players, they didn't pull back. You know, they were totally on it. But I guess there is no substitution for games. But you know, again, I think we've had a real good pre-season. I think the boys will, you know, the excitement that you can feel in them, they'll go out there and the first 20, 30 minutes they'll be frantic and, you know, and really tough and hard. But then the game will settle down and you know, and hopefully we execute the plan, to play the game like we want to play, and hopefully we can get the result. But as I said, it's going to be a tough one against a very strong York team.
Yeah, as you say, back in action Friday night. That is a 7:45 kickoff. It is live and exclusive across the sportsman.com. They're playing the York City Knights in the Betfred Challenge Cup. And I sat down with their head coach, James Ford. You were 10-1 to win Betfred League 1 in 2018. You then shocked a lot of people by getting into the playoffs in 2019. You've made some big signings ahead of the 2021 season. Does that change the mentality a bit? You're not the underdogs anymore.
Yeah, I'll probably have to think of a different pre-match interview now. But you're right. Listen, we have signed some high-profile players. We've got great facilities. You know, I keep telling everybody how well our preparation's going. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, we're the underdogs and we'll do well to stay up. There's some pressure on us to succeed, but pressure's a privilege, and you know, we're looking forward to the challenge.
And York, of course, had the distinction of being one of the teams involved in the first competitive game this season of the year. You've got a big Challenge Cup date against Sheffield Eagles. That must be in your mind in terms of a game that you really want to hit the ground running for.
Absolutely. We had some cracking games against Sheffield in the last competitive season, and I don't see any reason why this won't be right up there in terms of those standards. There's, you know, I used to play for Sheffield. I've got an affinity with them. You know, Mark Aston did a lot for me as a player, but you know, when we play them in that Challenge Cup fixture, we'll be going hell for leather. We want to make sure that we win the first game, our first game of the season, and build from there.
In terms of the Super League experience that you have signed for this season, how much of a benefit do you think that's going to be? Thus
far, it's been immense. You know, I'm really pleased with the intelligence they've brought to our training. You know, how comfortable they are being criticised by the peers, how comfortable they are criticising their peers, has really driven up the standards of our prep. There's some peer-led feedback. I think it's a really powerful tool, and I've been really impressed with it, and they've been central to that. And it's probably going to take me a while to nail down our best 17, and I'm not embarrassed about saying that, you know, because it changes based on what the boys do in training and how they carry themselves on a game day. So I think what we'll have to do is just focus on ourselves, you know, embrace our game model and our philosophies in the different areas of the field, and do them to the best of our abilities. And you know, if we do that, we'll have some stuff then to build on for the rest of the season.
I ask you this question before every season, you never answer. I'm going to try one more time. What's success for the York City Knights in 2021?
You know, we want to continually improve through the season. You know, we want to make sure that we hit our own internal standards and goals, and if we do that, you know, we'll be really happy.
Luke, your boys, Leeds Rhinos, you've got a few rounds to wait until you get back into Challenge Cup action, but will you be watching these early rounds, these early games with interest?
Yeah, look, I think we've been starved of Rugby League. The NRL come back on last week, which were great, and yeah, we'll be watching these first early rounds. We've got the privilege of holding on a bit, but yeah, look, it's as Mark said, it's a great occasion, and even these early rounds. This is what the Challenge Cup's about. The early rounds are great, and as I say, we'll be waiting. We'll be waiting in the next round, yeah.
And Mark, for clubs like yourselves, the Challenge Cup, is it it's extra games, but is it a real opportunity to kind of put yourself out there and set a platform for yourselves? And obviously, this is your first competitive game back. As soon as these boys get in the Super League clubs, obviously we expect them to take over, but that doesn't always happen. It must be really exciting for your, a club at your level to be in the mix with these guys.
100%. I mean, the gutting thing out of last year, 2020, was we beat our last game. We beat Workington in the whatever round is the Challenge Cup, and we got a tie against Hull FC, which you dream about. You dream about these players that are playing part-time rugby. They want to challenge themselves against the better players, the Super League. They want the day in the sunshine, don't they? They want to challenge themselves and they want to be on the big stage. And certainly, these players are no different. So yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for smaller clubs, part-time clubs to challenge themselves. And they are competitive games to start with. And yes, by the end of the game, the Super League teams tend to run away. But you've seen it in the past. Look at Halifax and the year before that they pushed St Helens and all this. It happens. Who expected us in '98 to win and beat Wigan and that? It happens, and that's what they dream about. If you haven't got dreams, what have you got?
Yeah, it's a hugely exciting thing for clubs, isn't it? And we're all excited about the return of Rugby League. It is not just domestic rugby league that's on its way back. As announced this morning, there's a big international weekend in June, and all 3 England teams will be involved.
Amy Hardcastle across the line for England.
And King's in for the try for England.
Tommy Wilkinson to finish it. Tommy Wilkinson. What a year for English rugby league.
10 to go. No! Down the left-hand touchline. They won't catch the flyer.
To be given this role, being English and coaching countries, there's no prouder feeling.
And here's an occasion that can inspire.
Halliwell through a yawning game. They go forward.
They're in trouble out wide.
Bashara. There it is.
Wide to Ryan Hall.
To Beeman.
Collins gets there.
It's left and Williams involved and cuts right through. What a try! What a try that is!
Yeah, really exciting to see all 3 senior England teams back. Luke, an England international yourself, of course. Have you allowed yourself to think about pulling that jumper on again? Are you thinking about what you can do to get yourself an international call-up this year?
Look, it's always in the back of your mind. I had a catch-up with Sean Wayne probably a couple of weeks ago with stuff like this, Zoom chats, and he outlines his expectations and what he wants of the team. And look, he'll be eager. He's probably had the job well over a year, and obviously with COVID, we've not had a training session together yet. So he did speak about this upcoming match, and I think it'll be a good test. They always used to be a good test. So everyone will be trying to put the marker down to get in that World Cup squad come the end of the year.
Does it still nettle you a little bit? 2017, we always say that England were an ankle tap away in that final. Is as much of your motivation about getting a chance to put that right?
Yeah, look, it was. First of all, just the whole experience for me was fantastic. We went from kind of coast to coast, doing the job you love. We went everywhere: Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, New Zealand twice, and getting so close to lifting that. But I do think we've got a hell of a chance this year. It's on our doorstep. As I say, we got so close 4 years ago. Hopefully we can go one better come the end of the year. And like you say, you just have to, I think with your form, I just think you have to play well week to week. And if you do enough, you're playing well week to week at your club side, you normally do enough to get in that squad and get in Wayne's squad. So, and as we mentioned, the the Exiles game will be a great test. Sorry, we're not calling it the Exiles game, are we?
The Combined Nations All-Stars.
Combined Nations, sorry. It'll take some getting used to. Combined Nations.
Yeah, it's interesting, as you say, obviously Sean Wayne has been in that role for a year and he hasn't had a session with you guys. The clock is ticking on the World Cup. I spoke to Sean this morning to see how he was going to approach this, to see how he was going to get the balance right in that game. And here's what he had to say.
And it is extremely tough. And I have got a balancing act to get what I need out of the game, because it's a very, very important game. And I want to make sure that I've been in clubland, Lewis. I've been in it, and I know what it feels like. And I never want our head coaches to feel the way I did when I was dealing with the international team. So I'm very, very, very conscious of that, but I'm also conscious that we need to win the World Cup. So it's finding that fine balance of getting what we need, looking at fringe players, and also not really hammering one club who's going to have lots of England players and lots of potential all-star players in there.
Yeah, Sean Wayne there talking about the balancing act that he's going to have to perform in June during that international. Mark, you've got experience as an international coach. How difficult is it to play those combinations and play those players that you think are part of your team, but also give players game time and the opportunity to put a marker down and stamp their authority on the international stage?
It was different for us, obviously, with Ireland, and as Luke spoke about there, we had the opportunity to go to Australia and Brisbane and Cairns and all that with Ireland, and it was fantastic. And thoroughly enjoyed the full tournament, and there was some great. We were great, we were once won a couple of points away from playing England in Melbourne by getting beat by PNG. So the occasion's massive. For us, it's difficult for us because we couldn't get together. We never got together, but leading up to the World Cup, we went and had 10 days or so. In fact, we had 2 weeks leading up to it where we got together. So we ended up in Dubai for a few days to do a bit of training, get to know each other, and then landed in Cairns a little bit earlier. So then it was getting to know each other. Fortunate enough that time we could go around and meet all the players. So I had the great job of going around and meet some great people. People like Mickey Mack, who blew my mind with how he was, how professional he was, and what he thought, and his preparation, and just the extras that they do. The guys would, and they, what they expect from themselves. So we didn't get a lot of time, but what we had quality time, and we bonded together. They were an absolute champion group. I thoroughly enjoyed it. One of the highlights of obviously of my career was to be part of that and challenge myself with some Super League players and what they're about and what they think, and get them to buy into our sort of philosophies and that. And they did. They were great from minute one. I was fortunate enough to have a very good backroom staff. Ryan Sheridan, who I know Luke will speak highly about. Still never took his hat off, to be fair, but and I did Cochran. So I was blessed with the people behind us, and we had a real good tournament. And that was down to the players and their attitude to be professional and do the right thing at the right time. We didn't have to worry about them partying and things like that. They did the work, and then they got the rewards after. So it was special times, but I don't think you can ever get enough time. It's difficult to balance both with Super League particularly and the international, and everybody wants the pinnacle of the game is the international. There's no doubt it. The World Cup. Why wouldn't you want to be part of that? And getting the preparation right for England is a thankless job. I've got to say, it's a thankless job.
Yeah, World Cup year, as you said, that it's always an exciting time. And I think the exciting thing about this year's World Cup in England, of course, is that it is not just the men's, the women's and the wheelchair team will play their World Cups at the same time. And I sat down with Craig Richards, the England women's head coach, and Tom Coyd, who's the head coach of the wheelchair team this morning, as they prepare for a huge year.
I suppose what we've had is the national performance programme's continued for quite a while, so we kind of know where the girls are at. But I think part of the importance is just have a look at the other girls in the competition. You know, I know for sure there's some new girls that'll be on show, and I suppose similar to Sean, there's just no guarantees. You know, anybody that plays well, anybody that's in form, if they're the correct person, they've got the correct attitude, they're willing to work hard both on and off the ball and on and off the field, we want to consider them. But yeah, for the bulk of the squad, I think just to get out and get back into the grind of it and get some actual game fitness is really, really key. So, you know, we're dependent on a really strong Super League season this year.
How far the domestic wheelchair games come, both in England and internationally, it is a different sport basically to how it was when I first got involved with it. It was basically just us and France that were playing it up until probably the mid 2010s, and now we've got 8 teams competing in this World Cup. Australia, with their fantastic grounding and support that the NRL gets, are coming on strong, and that means excellent international competition, which is obviously fantastic. There's never been so many domestic clubs in the UK, both in Wales, Scotland and England. So yeah, it's in a fantastic place. And the only thing that's missing, to be honest, is a team in London. So I'm hoping after this World Cup, that's going to change.
Well, look, everyone on this call loves rugby league, but Mark, it's usually exciting, isn't it, to see these areas of the game developing, the women's and the wheelchair?
Oh, it's massive, and you know, we're in a real strong position that you know, the World Cup, quite a large part of it, the semi-finals of the wheelchair competition is going to be in Sheffield, and I know that England are playing Wales in June as well. So totally behind it. I think it's fantastic that that we've got some part of it. We've also got England versus Greece at Bramall Lane, and you know, I've been involved with Sheffield 30 plus years, and we've always cried out for big games, and there's no bigger when England come to the city. So yeah, we're really looking forward to it. We're supporting that. We're hoping to develop a wheelchair team on the back of it, the legacy of the World Cup, to run out of the EIS as well. So yeah, it's exciting times for us. You know, a new stadium for Sheffield Eagles, the World Cup coming into the city. It's all systems go for us at the moment.
We can try not to get too carried away, but if come November we had 3 England teams that were all world champions, that'd be pretty special for the game over here, wouldn't it?
It'd be absolutely outstanding. As I say, let's dare to dream, and that's what Sean Wayne speaks of. Whenever you chat with him, he installs that belief into you. So yeah, definitely. Just touching up on Mark said there, just the whole event, the inclusivity of the wheelchairs and the women's running alongside each other. It's just going to be. Look, I'm a rugby league fan, so just being involved with the event, watching the event. If I'm involved or not in Sean Wayne's plans, I'll be behind the wheelchairs, the women's and the men's also. So it's fantastic, and it's massively exciting come the end of the year.
Yeah, that's the World Cup, which kicks off in October, but much sooner. We've got the Betfred Challenge Cup kicking off on Friday, and we'll just run through those round 1 fixtures for you. We've got Sheffield Eagles versus the York City Knights, of course, Friday night, live across the sportsman.com and their social media. We've got Oldham versus Barrow, London take on Keighley, Whitehaven versus Dewsbury, Halifax take on Batley, Widnes take on the West Wales Raiders. There's loads of stories in that one. We'll get to see Rangi Chase come back, and Gavin Henson makes his rugby league debut. Featherstone Rovers, Bradford Bulls in what looks like a really tasty tie. Swinton versus Newcastle Rounds completes the round. Gents, it's really exciting, isn't it? I'll come to you, Mark, because you're going to be involved. This is exciting, isn't it?
Yes, buzzing to be back. And, you know, we need everybody to get and watch it on the stream and get the game is back, and we're excited. The players I'm sure will do everybody proud who's connected with Sheffield Eagles and the game, and from both sets of teams. So yeah, it's great to be back. Can't wait. A couple of weeks away from the season as well, so it's week in, week out, rugby league action.
Well, we're quickly running out of time, but Luke, just quickly, it's Cheltenham week, of course. I know you're a big racing fan. I'm going to put you on the spot. Give us your nap for this week.
The champion hurdle's just about to run, actually, lads. I'm hoping we get finished up. I said going into the week, brave man's game in the Ballymore. I think Paul Nicholls best hope at week, so I'm hoping that goes in.
Well, we'll see how you get on.
I'm not sure what day that is, actually.
We'll see how you get on. Gents, thank you both for joining us. It's been fantastic to talk rugby league with you both. It's fantastic that the game is back on Friday. The Betfred Challenge Cup kicks off Friday night. Sheffield Eagles against the York City Knights, live across the sportsman.com. Don't miss it.
Rugby League from Wakefield. Leeds Rhinos have defended their crown.
And what a moment for Halifax Rugby League.
Aston is through and Warrington dominating. Cut out!